Bonsoir les amis, j'espère que vous allez bien. I have some very important updates that I'm happy to share with you. Right now, in Geneva, Switzerland, policymakers from 179 countries are in the final stages of negotiations for a global plastic treaty. So this session began a few days ago on August 5th and it will end tomorrow. The goal is to agree on a legally binding international agreement to reduce plastic pollution. So let's talk a little bit about what is going on and most importantly, how will this affect beauty companies, especially here in the United States. So first thing first, this whole thing began in 2022 when the United Nations created a resolution to end plastic pollution with a focus on oceans. Since that time, countries met 5 times, and the 2024 meeting that took place in South Korea was supposed to be the final one. But countries, they could not agree on critical and major issues. First of all, because this is not another environmental agreement with no real consequences. This is a legally binding treaty. It means that the countries who sign this agreement might need to adjust by changing their domestic laws to match what's in the agreement. And second of all, this is not about just cleaning the beach. The agreement is about monitoring the entire plastic production life cycle from production and design to use and disposal. Now, the beauty sector, of course, heavily relies on plastic packaging like bottles, sample containers, pumps, even in formulations, things like glitter, microbeads, they use that kind of stuff. So if this treaty limits plastic production or bans some additives, beauty brands, and we're talking about, brands that are not very sustainable, they will need to, if they're, for example, using plastic for their packaging, they're gonna need to switch to sustainable alternatives like glass or aluminum, biodegradable bioplastic. They will also need to reformulate products to remove things like les microplastiques. They will need to provide more supply chains transparency to be more compliant. Now, all of this means, unfortunately for these brands, increased short-term costs, but it can also